As Mauritius leads in the financial and IT sectors, the Mauritius Africa Fintech Hub prepares the country for the future challenges. As the IT industry booms, international companies find Mauritius an ideal services platform. In this edition, we see how the Swiss Alka Group delivers training in Mauritius, and India imposes tariffs on 28 American products.
In this program of Business Connect, we are at the Seacom Tower in Eben, where is hosted the Mauritius Africa Fintech Hub company. The motto is "Technology serves humans." The company has been mandated by the government to foster and create the ecosystem of fintech in Mauritius. Let's meet the CEO of Mauritius Africa Fintech Hub, Michael Szymanski. Michael Szymanski, you are the CEO of Mauritius Africa Fintech Hub. Tell us, what are the services that are offered by your company?
So in terms of, well, I'll take a step back and say, we 2 years ago, all the stakeholders in the ecosystem came together and said, we need kind of an association to kind of consolidate the fintech space in Mauritius. You know, that its function is to serve the ecosystem on kind of a numerous set of pillars. So kind of 4 areas were identified which we kind of work with. The first one is regulatory strategy, so engaging the regulators, the central bank, etc., and assisting with kind of what's required from a marketplace perspective, and driving a little bit of thought leadership around that aspect. The second one is innovation and incubation. So we realized that we've got to stimulate the type of innovations that is fintech innovations that are coming through locally, but also from the African continent. And then how do we get these kind of innovations to market by incubating them? The third one is talent. So everybody we've engaged to, not only in Mauritius, but from the African continent, has said that there's a shortage of skills required in order to either scale your solution or grow into new markets, etc. So we kind of help to facilitate that process. And last one, to make it all happen, we talk around the deal flow aspect. In other words, how do we make sure that money comes into Mauritius to either serve the fintech community or to accesses the rest of the continent, but make sure that it comes through our shores and our borders.
The fintech industry has been up and coming for the past 2 to 3 years globally. And you were originally based in South Africa. So how did you come to Mauritius now?
So I believe Mauritius, if you look at technology and the success of various sectors in technology globally, it's all about timing. And I believe the time is right, and for Mauritius to kind of make sure it positions itself, you know, as the Singapore of the African continent, because we have all the right factors at this point in time, from a robust regulatory framework to a fertile environment where companies can come establish their business here and then, you know, develop solutions, test the solutions here, and then scale them into the African continent. So in terms of why am I here? I believe in this country, I believe in what we have to offer, and I believe we are on the cusp of making sure that we are the hub for the African continent.
You're a fairly new company in the Mauritian economy, so what makes you so different from the rest?
We are effectively the official Mauritius Fintech Association, so we just branded slightly different to kind of make sure that people are aware that we have a Pan-African mandate. So what makes us unique is the fact that we are here to serve everyone. So what that means is, we're not here to only serve an aspect or one stakeholder in an ecosystem. We serve all of them, from governments to regulators to academia to startups to the youth of this country. Our mandate as a not-for-profit organization is to ensure that we add value and kind of drive systematic change. So it's either easier for youth to find work in a fintech space, or startups to start their businesses here, or corporates to develop innovations that they can actually scale and adopt either internally or on sell to their clients. So by having a mindset coming from a point of view of serving the ecosystem, we're not driven by a certain agenda or certain political aspirations. Our job is just to help people, and help people in the fintech space, because we believe that fintech has the power to make human lives better. Financial inclusion, making the man on the street have access to financial services. For me, that's a big win. Why are they being excluded from the system? Why are they, being this? Why are they suffering? Because they are poor. Something is not right here in this picture, and it's not just from an African perspective, it's from a global perspective as well. They should be part of the system, having access to capital, on a day-to-day basis to follow their dreams. So our differential factor is here that we are here to serve the people through the fintech technology and the ecosystem that we're trying to help build here in Mauritius.
In the fintech industry, most companies offer the same services, but it all differentiates on the value added that is offered. What is so different with yours?
So in terms of the services, I'll take one step back from the essence to say that we ourselves, for example, on a skills element, we're not going to be doing any of the training ourselves, right? So we don't view other skills or training institutions as competitors. We view them as partners to say, well, being the Mauritian Fintech Association, we've identified the skills gap. So if we take partner A, B, C, D, where they're local from across the globe, and develop those solutions, we are better able to kind of close the skills gap that exists at the moment. So that's kind of the differential factor. And if you look at all the four pillars that we kind of tackle, even from a regulatory perspective, we're not competing with the regulators. We're actually working with them to say, this is the market demand side, because we are engaging with the startups, with the youth every single day. So this is what's happening, and this is where this might be going. So could we work together to make it even better going forward? So our total differentiator here is the fact that we actually don't do anything. We facilitate the ecosystem. We create an environment that allows all of these other players to actually take advantage of what's ever there. So maybe from an incubator perspective, a lot of people go, well, we have a lot of local incubators in Mauritius, whether it's Turbine, whether it's etc. We're not actually competing them. We're saying, Mr. Turbine, work with Mara in Kenya, work with City in Cape Town, work with Innovation Village in Kampala, because together, by sharing information and open collaboration, we can add a lot more value to people on the ground, because we are not wasting resources by trying to replicate the wheel, by other on the various aspects. So our model is very much open collaboration, work together for the benefit of all. I mean, from a corporate perspective, it makes big sense when you say, well, spend half as much as you would have and get twice as much as the returns, because now you're leveraging off more people and the best of what the ecosystem has to offer. And that's kind of our role of what we're trying to achieve.
So Michal, please share with us what has been the reaction of Mauritians towards the company, and how well would you say your company has done so far?
So when I first arrived in the country in October, there was a lot of good initiatives happening on the ground. So how has it changed? I'm very proud to say that people are engaging. People are sharing their learnings. People are doing things for free because they want to, because at the end of the day, we're human. We want to help human beings get better. So and over the last couple of months specifically, we've seen a massive shift towards collaboration. People saying, you know, corporate A and corporate B, for example, instead of them not talking to each other because they view themselves as direct competitors, they've actually starting to engage and saying, well, we're trying this, you're trying that, but together we can do X, Y, and Z together, which is so much more, you know, than just a piece of the whole. So it's starting. We're seeing a lot of youth engagement, youth walking into our doors saying, I've got a fintech innovation. What's needed for me in order to take this off the ground? You know, so that's kind of, we've moved from a closed kind of, you know, siloed approach to tackling various market opportunities and innovations, to people engaging, you know, youth talking to CEOs saying, Mr. CEO, actually, as your consumer, I don't actually want what you're giving me on the table, I want X, Y, and Z. Therefore, you know, people are starting to better understand of what the consumers want, and therefore we can build innovations and solutions for people that they actually need, instead of just trying to go, oh, we've created a great product, this is what you should use, Mr. X and Y, because that old model's gone. You know, today's world, it's all about user-centered design, is putting together and developing solutions that people need, and that's what will drive the adoption of the fintech or the technology, because I need it, therefore I will use it. You know, we're seeing a lot of good innovation fail because it might be the best, the cheapest, save time, save money, but if nobody uses the innovation or the technology, it's pointless, right? So we're seeing a massive shift towards, you know, opening the engagements, people collaborating. I mean, we've got some great examples of small businesses already doing that. And that for me is what has fundamentally shifted is there's a lot of good talent here, a lot of good skilled individuals in Mauritius. And now, you know, instead of them being kind of isolated voice, they're working together and saying, we believe in this dream of positioning Mauritius as a fintech gateway for the African continent. So let's work together and let's all add value, because together there's nothing we can't achieve. And that's kind of happened over the last 4 to 5 months.
India has said that from Sunday it will impose tariffs on 28 US products, including almonds and apples. The new duties, some as high as 70%, are in response to Washington's refusal to exempt Delhi from higher taxes on steel and aluminium imports. Earlier this month, US President Trump also announced the US was withdrawing India's preferential trade agreement. After hundreds of rounds of bidding over nearly 3 months, Germany raised more than expected from its 5G spectrum auction. Auction winners will have to supply households with fast internet and share their networks. 5G will be used to upgrade networks so they can run the Internet of Things with connected factories, cities, and autonomous driving.
Welcome to this new edition of Business Connected. Today, Mauritius is growing in the IT sector aggressively. And today, we're talking about the Alka Group, which is in Mauritius since 1 year. Its main operating system is the IT sector. Let's have a look in this edition about what's all about the Alka Group.
First of all, thank you for coming and welcome you in our new office. So my name is Retus Müller. I'm country manager for Alka here in Mauritius.
So kindly tell us about the Alka Group and since when Alka exists.
Well, Alka is a 50 years old company. We have been founded in 68. We are a private owned company. Today, after these 15 years, we are more than 1,000 people operating in several countries with our headquarters in Switzerland and offices in England, France, Spain, etc. We also have a bigger development center in Vietnam with over 250 people. In the last years, we have a growth of about 10%, stable growth. And last year we reached the target of $150 million as a turnover.
What are the main operating sectors of Alka?
We are serving most all industries. However, what are we doing? We can divide it in four categories. First of all, we are doing business consulting. So here we are helping our customer in the digital transformation, helping our customer to find new ways in that world, new processes, new products, digital products, for example. Then the second area is the engineering part. There we are developing solutions for our customers. Alka is called when a customer needs complex or a bigger system for his core business. Then Alka comes on the plate. This is also our DNA at the end. That's where we come from. Then the third part, we are operating also system. It's cloud-based systems. And last but not least, we are investing ourselves in some solutions. And the famous one, I think, is Secutix. Secutix is an event and ticketing system, and for example, we are doing the Football Champions League UFA. Also, if you are going to Opera de Paris or you're taking the train in Europe, etc., you will get the Secutix ticket. This is the kind of activities we are doing.
So you mean to say if someone is here in Mauritius and he wants to buy a ticket somewhere, he can just come here and get your service for that?
Exactly. It's a holistic system. I mean, we started with the print at home. When it goes to digitalize the ticket itself, then we build a whole solution around it with the whole VIP management, the management of the different areas. Like a stadium is not the same as a cinema, or a water park is not the same than let's say a festival with music, etc. So the solution today can do everything, but that's just an example at the end of the day, right?
You've been talking about your customers. Who are your customers? Are they Mauritian based or they are foreigners?
Well, today we are serving mostly the Swiss market. These are, of course, international companies, but we are mostly serving the Swiss market and then some international ones through the whole world. Today we are not serving the Mauritius market. Why? Because we are here since a couple of months, so we need to stabilize first of all our center here in Mauritius. We need to install the culture of the company first of all to be able to deliver in a way we are doing over the other countries as well. So that's the first thing we are doing. Then it's not excluded that at a certain stage we will also go on the market here in Mauritius.
What is the interest of a Swiss company to be located in Mauritius in the middle of the Indian Ocean?
The question behind is why we need to have another location at all. Today we have a challenge. The challenge is we have more work than people, more work than talents. So we needed to find another location to find these talents. And we chose Mauritius because of several criteria. One criteria is, well, Mauritius has this ecosystem of people, skilled people. There is an ecosystem with the universities, with the already established companies, international companies, local companies, and this creates this ecosystem of engineers that are here on the market. The second point, well, we choose the country where you can, in an acceptable time to market, install a company as a foreigner. Well, in a couple of months, we installed this center. So Mauritius gives the possibility as a foreigner to come here. We needed also to have a stable country. That was the second criteria. And the third one is about proximity. Proximity in several flavors. One is, of course, the time zone. 2 hours away is, from a time shift perspective, is interesting for us, for the collaboration between the different teams. The second point, proximity, is the business proximity. The people here are knowing what is an insurance, are knowing what is a bank. So you need not to explain from the first beginning the things. So this is the business proximity. And the last one also is the languages. People here are speaking English and French. And these are two languages we need for our customers. So that was mainly the reason why we came here.
Tell us about the training center in the context of Mauritius being a potential IT hub in the region.
So I think the universities here made a good job until now. They propose an interesting curriculum today. I already had some exchanges with the main universities here to see also go through the description and their programs. And I have to say it's interesting, and the people we have are well founded, I think. However, if I need to give a message today, sometimes less is more. I mean, for us, it's very important that the people have the fundamentals. They are knowing, if they are knowing that very well, we can build up then the specific needs for us. But if the fundamentals are missing, then it's going to be very hard to form them. You have to understand we are creating complex things, so we need engineers, not developers at the end.
The resources needed, as today we're talking about new technologies in every field.
So we are a pure IT organization, okay? We do software development. So we are looking for resources with an IT background and IT education. So be they bachelors, masters, we also take diplomas, but they need to have an IT flavor somewhere. So computer science, software engineering, whatever. But they need to have that initial training and education in their background to be of interest to Alka Mauritius at the moment. In terms of profiles and in terms of jobs, we have a variety of jobs in the organization, okay, which are the jobs that are necessary to run IT projects. So we have developers, okay, the guys who actually write the code. We have the quality insurance people, okay, who are the ones testing the codes before we deliver it to the client. We have business analysts, okay, who sits between the client and the developers in order to be able to translate the requirements of the users into understandable language by the developers. And to manage all that, we need team leaders, we need project managers, etc., etc. So we have the full stack, if I can say it this way, of profiles necessary to run IT projects.
And how will Alka contribute in Mauritius, especially when we're talking about making Mauritius a financial hub with new technology? Today we're talking about the Fintech, we're talking about the blockchain. How will you contribute in it?
We will contribute to that through specific skills, okay, which we are using either in the financial industry context or other contexts, because we are serving multiple industries. We are today very involved in cloud engineering, okay, for various projects. So we are building skills around cloud. We are also involved in blockchain, okay, through some of our products that we are developing in Alka. And those two technologies are actually being merged into our culture, and we are actually training people on that. So maybe one day we can serve more importantly, the financial market locally or internationally. We will see.
To preserve the integrity, how are you training the people here? Do they need a specific skill?
In terms of integrity, Alka came here, as mentioned before. Alka is a 50-year-old organization, and it has its own way of working. It has its own culture and its own values. So we ensure that everybody that joins the organization is actually being trained on those values, okay, to make sure that there is an ethical standard in the way we run business, and to make sure that people are compliant with the business rules and business ethics internationally, okay, not just on the local practice. So that's very important. On the second hand, we are actually offering internal training more on the technology platforms, okay, so we have a continuous learning organization in which way that people that need a specific knowledge at the moment, they can go and use e-learning platforms to get trained, okay. The times where you would actually book your 1 week of training for the year on that week and then that's it, that's finished. Okay, the technology is going too fast. So we need to have a very flexible and very agile way of educating people. So we have electronic platforms where people can go and get the training they need at the moment where they need it. On top of that, and in order to somehow bridge the gap between the education system and the professional world in some ways, we have a boost program, which we can call it this way, which we named Academy, in which during 3 months we actually educate people, okay, through e-learning, through coaching, okay, through being embedded into project teams, so that people actually bridge that gap, okay, and become fully independent in the way they work in their projects.
What has been achieved till now? It's been 1 year since Alka is in Mauritius.
A lot, to be honest with you. If you look around you, we have now a team of more than 100 people, okay, in less than 1 year. So our growth has been very fast. So that's the first factor of success, I should say. The second one is that we have started already to deliver the major projects to key clients back in Switzerland. So that's also a serious and significant achievement for a new organization. You know, it's a very big and important milestone to demonstrate your ability to deliver. So that's very important. Also, in terms of stabilizing the organization, we have also imported, if you want somehow, the quality culture of Alka, okay, which is a global standard for Alka. And we have all that training coming along with the people. So we are at the same time raising the overall level of our population to meet and reach and sometimes overpass the international standards of quality.
And lastly, what needs to be taken into consideration in regarding the compliance rules?
Compliance, we are only slightly concerned by that. We are not a financial organization per se. We do serve financial organizations, but our key job in life is to develop software. So what we have to take care of is the protection of data, our client data and our employee data. But it's relatively simple in the sense that we have very little interaction with production environments. We don't have real data, in fact, access to real data. People do work with test data, which are fake data most of the time. So we limit the risk, if you want, of data protection or data leakage. And that's the major thing we need to look at in terms of compliance. For the rest, it's very secondary level problem for us.
Business Connect, that's it for tonight. Find this program on our website and also follow us on our Facebook page. Next week, we'll meet you on the same channel for another edition of Business Connect. Till then, it's goodbye.